So what I've got set up here is two products from Fernox. I've got the solar flow pump and solar S1. So when you're setting up a solar panel, a thermal panel, really you want to be using a heat transfer fluid rather than water. So what we've got here is Fernox Solar S1, which is a heat transfer fluid that contains a propylene glycol for antifreeze protection.
Now, you mentioned glycol there. I know you've got a couple of bottles there. Show us the glycol before and after. This is not something you'd have as a cocktail drink, obviously.
Not really, no. No, don't drink this or put it on your plants or anything. No, this is a propylene glycol. So it's a very
You can see this on the screens if you want to see a close-up of it.
It's a very viscous fluid. Basically, it's much better at heat transfer than your water. And it allows, it just allows the system to be more efficient and to the efficiency rating that it's been given. So Fernox Solar S1 is a heat transfer fluid that contains propylene glycol, but it also contains a corrosion inhibitor as well. So it prevents the system from corroding up because there's different metals within the system, and that can cause corrosion. Also in there as well, there's thermal protection properties. So it also, if a system is stagnant, so in this pipe here, if the fluid isn't moving around, if it just stays still, there's always heat going in. And that can really heat it up and maybe even burn the glycol. So in there's protectants that allow that to be protected up to 360 degrees.
Now, you showed us the glycol before. What about the glycol after? It looks like...
Well, if you don't have any protection in your system, basically, this is what the glycol will look like. So you can see in here there's dark bits, and those bits are burnt glycol, where the tube has remained stagnant and the glycol has been burnt by the heat that's in the tube. And so you get, this orangey sort of browny colour, and basically that's the glycol breaking down into organic compounds. And the main effect of that is the fact that you'll lose your frost protection. The S1 is got frost protection to minus 28 degrees C, and when your fluid's like that, you're not going to get that frost protection.
Gary, why do you need to treat the system? What's the importance of it?
Well, as you know, as Simon said, you've got lots of dissimilar metals in there.
Right.
You also want to make sure you get all the air out of the system, because air in the system is not very good at all for solar fluid.
Right.
And we are talking high temperatures.
Sure.
We're talking panel temperatures up to 100 degrees, 200 degrees-ish, depending on the type of system. So it's got to be really good fluid to withstand those kind of temperatures.
Right, and how often do you need to treat the system?
In our instruction manual, we'd say on a yearly basis, take a pH sample, which is looking for the acidity test. We're looking for also a freezing point sample. We'd be working very closely with Fernox and saying, what would you require on your system? What do we require for our system? And we work together and say, look, you need a yearly basis or a yearly check.
Brilliant. Now, Simon, for the purposes of the test, a bit like in a movie where the whiskey's actually tea, we've coloured the liquid here so we can actually see it moving through the system, haven't we?
This is coloured water, and really, if we turn the pump on, what you'll see is that the outlet of the pump is attached to the inlet of the system, which is usually the higher point, and then there's a lower point which is attached to the drain into the solar flow pump. Now, the solar flow pump has got a 20-litre tank on it, and the pump pumps at 27 litres a minute flow rate. And really what you should do is continually pump the fluid through the system. Allow continual flow. And what that's doing is it's allowing all the air to be moved out of the tube. And if you see in here in the solar flow tank, there's a tube that comes right down into the fluid. And what that allows is the air, to bubble through into the fluid and not introduce any more air in while you're circulating it. You must remove all the air, and that's important.
And how long? How do you know when it's finished?
Well, there's a couple of characteristics you can look for. I mean, you can look for the bubbles stop coming through the liquid, or you could look at the see-through pipes and make sure there's no air coming through there. But really, we work with the installers, the Worcester Bosch people, and and they say and we agree that 40 to 45 minutes of constant circulation to remove the air, make sure the system's completely full of liquid.
And this is it? This is all the kit you need?
Yeah, this is all you need. Just a solar flow pump and some S1, a 20-litre can will do. Just 45 minutes of introduction into the system and clear the air.
It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, isn't it?
Very simple system.
Now, obviously you need to be trained to work this system, and Adam from Easy MCS is here and he can help. We've got a special offer going on through the show here at the Plum Centre that if you want training, we've got a discount that Adam's able to offer from Easy MCS, so have a word with him. It seems such a simple system overall.
But why shouldn't it be?
Why shouldn't it?
Solar is a simple system
Yeah.
anyway. Why do we need to make it complicated?
Yeah.
All you've got to do is move a fluid around the system, get all the air and the muck and rubbish out,
Yep.
get the pipework full of fluid, turn it on and bring lovely energy down to your cylinder.
And finally, you guys will put a label on the system to say that you've actually conducted it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you get a repeal label on the can, so you can put that on the system. Tell them, and it tells the people, when the fluid first went in there, and then like you said, if you test it once a year, you can test it using a refractometer as well, so you can just see the level of glycol you've got in there, and thus what frost protection you've got. And then every 5 years, we would suggest perhaps retesting again, and maybe replacing the fluid that's in the system for a fresh glycol, so you don't get any of that degradation.